What's up, everybody? So, in the States, July 4th is coming up this weekend. That's a long weekend, and I know for a lot of people that can be a tough one. These long holiday weekends, you know how I like to throw stuff out there. Obviously, if you're overseas, you may not have this break, but whatever. Getting a lot of emails at Divorcestrong at yahoo.com, Divorcestrong at yahoo.com, talking about situations heating up again. I don't know what it's the COVID thing or post-COVID, but there's a lot of pain out there, man. So let's do something about that. Okay. Now, this is what I'm going to talk about is based on the ideas and philosophies that have been around a long time. You've probably heard some of them. There's a guy named Mickey Singer. I've been listening to a lot. He's awesome. I think you ought to check him out. The stuff we're going to talk about, most people probably won't even agree with what I'm saying to try on. I'm just telling you that right now. But if you want out, I would try this on. All right, what is it? What we're dealing with is emotional pain, obviously, right? Marriage falls apart. Or this can apply to anything. Lost job, relationship you're not married to, friendship. You lose a lot of something, respect, money, whatever. Emotional pain, that's the through line here. What do you do with that? Well, you can cover it over with booze and alcohol or other substances. Okay? You can run away with it with behavior, over-exercise, or go on travel the world, or see friends, or throw yourself into work. I think we said that one. What other ways are there to deal with? What other ways do you deal with emotional pain? I know with me, I just disassociate and literally go into another world of daydreaming and, just out of there. Anything to avoid the pain. Now, I'm not saying that if you're a real estate broker and this happens and you go to work and you're focused on work and everything, that's not a potentially positive thing, or obviously training physically. What I'm saying is, and again, Singer talks about this, the issue is how that initial shock of pain is handled. If it's avoided, if it's pushed down, it's not going anywhere. It's going to still be there. It will affect everything you do. It'll affect how you relate to people, that next relationship, whatever, the next friendship, next girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, man. We've got to learn to deal with it at the source. Now, what does that mean? It's not for the faint of heart. We've talked about this. You be with that discomfort and you get distance on it. But first you have to sit with it. I've been there, man. Sitting there, almost like a heroin addict, where the waves of intensity come, and underpinning that, and in a tornado of confusion and commentary and judgment. You'll never do this. You're this. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, sit down and breathe for 5 minutes, and you'll know what I'm talking about, because it's all going to come up for you. So again, what do? The first thing is, this is why it's called being a spiritual warrior, because you got to sit with that discomfort that can be harsh. I did an ice bath today. Same thing, right? In a physical form, sitting in that discomfort. And you let it wash through you. And when it comes, you breathe and you relax into it. Again, Singer talks about this, and it's nothing new. The yoga tradition talks about this, and you guys who do CrossFit or triathlons, you get it. It's a good metaphor, or actually a learning experience. The yoga, you get in these uncomfortable positions and you just learn to flow through them and let that go. The big thing is when we get glued to our thoughts and we start chasing the thoughts around, wait a minute. She said what? She had no right to say that. No, how could she do that? You're lost. You're drinking spoiled milk. You're drinking battery acid. You're drinking Windex because it's not affecting anything with her. And even if you get revenge on her, it don't matter, son. It's still in you. And then that girl that you move on to, it's going to come up again because she's going to do something. Because, off on a little tangent here, before I go off the tangent, let me nail this down. You breathe and relax into it. Don't think about it. Let that go. The thoughts will come and just relax. So that's what you're doing. Breathe and relax. Let's say this guy who wrote me just this morning, right, about the long weekend for July 4th and all this crap just happened for him. He's terrified of the coming weekend, but it gives him an opportunity to sit there in the pilot's chair and soak this in and sit there and be with it. And there's something magnificent and powerful when you do that and you just be with it. You don't try to change it. It washes through you. And you might have to do it time after time. I wrote down the amount of times these things would come up for me in this situation. I had literally every like 47 seconds, a wave I would just write it down, and I just wanted to see. And that was like being on the freaking Titanic with waves washing over, right? So it's, again, just sitting there and having things wash over you. So where do you go from here? This is something that has to be experienced. It's not a thought thing. You guys who write me and want to philosophize and everything, that's cool. And we get into it and I explain it, but you got to sit down and do it. You got to sit down and think and let these things wash over you. And that's where the meat and potatoes is, right? So what do we do again? This thing happened. We sit with it. I'm going to park here. Parking. Park. Emergency brake. Boom. We sit. Example. Let's say something's coming up for me. Watch me. It's virtually, if not impossible, to be like this and be relaxed and let these thoughts flow through you. So the first thing you're going to do is watch. See that? I'm going to go back and get something and bring it in because I'm a warrior. Let me go back something was rough. All right, I got it. Here we go. Notice where my shoulders are, my jaw's fixed. Now watch. Breathing, relaxing the chest, the body. You don't talk through it. I'm just talking you through it. I see this situation and it's clawing me. But just like a child who's screaming about something, I'm going to let it go and sit myself back. Now, these are terms we're going to practice on. I get it, but I'm breathing. I'm not combating thinking with thinking like, all right, well, she did this, I did this, why did she that, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that. We're just letting it be and move through. And that way the body, the mind, the soul is saying, hey, I'm going to pull out now. I can handle this discomfort, being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Does that make sense? Now, returning to our tangent. And this is what Singer says. And again, you're going to be like, dude, what? What did that? Yeah, it's totally against everything you've been raised about, probably. But I'm digging it. I'm going to dig into it. If you're happy for a reason, a person, a thing, that's not going to last. And it doesn't have stick-to-itiveness, durability. Rationally, it makes sense. If you're happy because she called you or texted you, or you got that job, or the apartment came through, we're not saying that's not a nice thing to celebrate, But if that's connected and that controls your joy, that's necessarily going to send you on an EKG type pattern in life. Because you're going to get in a fight with her at some time, or there's going to be certain things. It's all up here, and it's relying on something outside yourself, an energy that's being delved to you, given to you, if that's a word, delivered to you. And you're the one who decides to let that in. You decide to let that in. They don't reach in and pull it out of you. So for me, a really cool thing is to say, I'm joyful today. Or why? What's the reason? Now I'm getting off into life stuff here, but what's the reason you're joyful? Then you have to start finding material to say why you're joyful and to prove that. But F that. Who the hell said that's how we have to live? Well, obviously the entire culture and our parents and everybody since humans probably walked the earth believe that, because there's a fear that you won't be motivated maybe if you just give joy out. Yeah, but if I'm personally, I'm going to do this brutal event in mid-July, a physical thing, California. Going in there joyful and like, let's do this. But I didn't finish it yet. Who knows? I could crash in hour 3. What right do I have to enter with joy, or engage the world with joy, or show up to work with joy, with nothing underpinning that other than being alive? Radical. Yet on the flip side, we all know that to rely on outside things for happiness is insanity. That new apartment could burn down tomorrow. She could leave. He could fire you. Whatever. Or every day is not going to be a celebration, right? But when your joy comes from just being alive and you give it to yourself, that's powerful. I'm not a master at this, but that's where I'm headed. Do you want to come with me? You want to work on that? Do you want to sit and be a warrior with these things that come up and let them pass through you? We're just surrendering to them and letting that energy go. I don't care what she did. It's drinking battery acid to hang on to that. Let it go. Does it mean if she's throwing pots and pans at you or shooting you horrible things and suing you, whatever the hell's going on, you don't take action? No. It's about surrendering the blocks in ourselves, because those blocks accumulate. And then your life, and again, going back to what this guy's saying, when you see a woman, you go out on a date, you don't see her, you see what she allows you to feel comfortable in to get you past these blocks. Now, that's a deeper thing. We can talk about it later, but suffice it to say, you don't even see her. You see, oh, I like the way she tilts her head. It reminds me of some girl I knew in high school, or that perfume my sister wore and I like that, or I hated it, or whatever. We're like dogs chasing shiny objects and bones all over the place. Whereas when we clear all this crap out and we're going on a date, not going to have somebody fill us up with self-worth, things change. Not a bad way to live. So I invite you, when the waves, those guys are right. I'm talking to you guys who are here on the long weekend, right? And dreading it. Use this as your octagon. One guy was actually a boxer, okay? So, or a UFC guy. Yeah. So, sit and feel that wave come across you, and do nothing more than relax and breathe. There it is, right? I'm you. Here it comes, the thought. God. You can go that route, or I'm inviting you to do this. Or you can burp, take the whatever. I invite you to do this. But Randall, what do? I do. No, just breathe. Don't engage the thoughts. Would you engage a crazy guy selling hypodermic needles on the street. Hey man, you want to buy a hypodermic needle? It's used, so I know it works. Don't buy it. Don't go there. Respect. Okay? Respect yourself. Let me know if that was helpful. A little bit of a tangent today, but it's been on my mind. Divorcestrong@yahoo.com if you need some further talking, chatting, guidance. I'm here for you guys. Peace.